What's going on, football fans? Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Birds. Taking a look at Fletcher Cox, again, also for the first time this season, getting a lot of looks on players here this week. And the reason I want to do that is because in this game, I really sat with a feeling like, he's not playing well. What is going on with Fletcher Cox? And I really wanted to get a look of that a little bit more here in detail. Let's get right to the tape. All right, here we have Fletcher Cox in straight up 4 technique, lined right across from the tackle, 5-man front. So basically, we have one offensive lineman for each D line right here. So we're expecting Cooper Rush to get rid of the ball quickly. Now, our 2 edge rushers don't get too much pressure on Rush to begin with, and when we have this quick pressure, we want the pressure the pressure from the D line to come from the interior. And thankfully, we get a lot of that here. Fletcher Cox and Zach Martin, really good engage on him, good pad level, and explosive as he connects on the engage. Let's see right here. He has a good angle. He has like an outside angle going in. And he's in the face of Rush as he's throwing that. So a little bit behind CD Lamb. And that's a testament to the D-line. Very next play. We have Fletcher Cox liner right here. Cowboys are going to go with a zone right concept here. It's supposed to be a zone read, I assume. But if it was a zone read, I'd expect Cooper Rush to keep this ball. I think it's designed for Elliott all the way. It's 3rd and short. Fletcher going on working against a double team here from Zach Martin and Tyler Biadasz. And Tyler would be supposed to move up to the second level of on Kaiser White, but Fletcher does a really good job of standing up both of them. It does not get moved at all at the point of contact. So Elliott doesn't have like a clear path. He can just run straight through, and that allows Josh Sweat to get just enough time to catch him right there at the line of scrimmage and stop them for a 3rd down. This is a good rep. Not anything that counts on the stat sheet whatsoever. Going against Zach Martin here, responsible for the B gap in the run game here, and you can clearly tell that he's in full control of that. Makes the contact here with Zach, good hand placement, and then as soon as he gets his hands on him, he has him a little bit extended, so he can read his gap. And as soon as is it Pollard? Yeah, Pollard. He declares to the inside here. He can try to get off the block there, and then go in and assist on the inside. Although he doesn't really have anything to do there because we're not 2-gapping. We're expecting everybody to fill their gap on the backside of it. But that's good technique. I mean, that is exactly what you'd like in the run game of standing up the offensive line like that, because then the line doesn't move. He has Zach Martin more than Zach Martin can push him down the field and create more space for the running back. Tough situation here. Split zone for Cowboys, and Terrence and Zach will be double teaming up on Fletcher Cox, only then to immediately transfer up to a linebacker. And in the perfect scenario, what happens here is that as soon as the linebackers here are reading that, all right, there's a running play, you can do that about now. You see low hats, everybody forward. They would be shooting up for their respective gaps right here. As for the outside C gap, Kaiser for the A gap, TJ for the B gap. But really for Fletcher Cox, the most important thing is you want to withdraw. You want to stand up the double team as long as possible to free up the linebackers. Or if the O-line is prematurely moving up to the second level, then you disengage on your single block and you make a tackle. So 2 things we can take away from this. He's getting contact initiated around the split of the 5-yard lines there. And when he gets off of his double team there, he's about 1 yard removed, tops maybe. So that in itself is fine. Then you expect the rest of the guys to come over here and assist out there on the B gap and C gap. Fletcher Cox he's splitting the 2 gaps that he was primarily responsible for, and actually ends up being the one stalling the running back after about 2 yards and limits the play for 2 yards. So that's a tough situation to be put in as a defensive tackle. Especially when we don't have anyone really filling up the gaps in there. Of course, Hassan Reddick comes in and makes an tackle attempt, but really nothing that alters the play too much. Cowboys running a power here. Not a good rep from Fletcher Cox. Gets moved way too much on just a normal down block from a head-up tackle right in front of him. No blind angles that he can't see or that he can't prepare for. And he really just gets moved along with the line. At this point here, he's moved about 2 yards off of his initial spot and never really comes off the block, gets shoved a little bit downfield. I really like this rep in pass rush here from Fletcher Cox. Lineman 3 technique going up against Zach Martin here. And what I really like about it is that he still displays some of this explosion with his hands as a pass rusher there with the double swipe before he's going outside and then ripping across. Stumbles a little bit, but still, like, he's so close to getting home with this move here. So against Zach Martin, one of the best guards in the NFL. Good swipe there. Good rip as he's coming across here. That's you got to be an athlete to get through that here. And he shoots and across it. Tyler Biadasz gets a hand on him as he's nearing Cooper Rush, but he's this close to getting that can swipe away the feet of Cooper. Much better rep here against Terrence Steele at right tackle for the Cowboys there. They're coming out, they're running a zone blocking for the entire line here, and they're double teaming up on Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox with the single block here, and he does exactly what he has to do, but he's put in a tough situation because Jordan Davis gets kind of smothered here by the double team from Zach and Tyler. Look at it here. So he's at the hash, and then he gets removed and sealed off by Zach there. It's also a tough double team to take on, but that just opens up the gap a lot more for Fletcher Cox. So when he has this guy in the extended arms here, he has him in good technique and in a position that he'd like. He has to account for not opening this gap too much while still maintaining his own gap. And so can you argue that he gets his hands late off of the block here and commit to the tackle? Maybe, but also it's a massive gap to actually have responsibility for, and he makes the tackle. So I think he compensates very well here for Jordan Davis getting washed away and opening the gap too much there. Near perfect rep here for Fletcher on what is a difficult play for him. In the 3 technique here, Cowboys running a dive, so they want to double team the defensive tackles, then move up from there to the linebackers. Fletcher's responsibility is the B gap here, and when he takes on the double team, he doesn't get moved off of the line. That's 1. 2, he perfectly fills his gap there and allows both for Epps and the, I think it was Brandon Graham to take over their gaps there at that side, and that creates a closed left side of our screen here. So initially moves through well through the double team, pushes back Terrence Steele actually, and has some good control there. Now the thing that keeps this from being a perfect rep is that he needs to just contain his guy right here and trust that the rest of the defense here are filling out the gaps in the backside. Because at this point, Kaiser has the A gap, Cox has the B gap, Epps is coming in to fill with the C gap, and then you got Slay approaching there for the D gap as he is supposed to get in there and make the tackle on Ezekiel Elliott. But because Fletcher is trying to do too much here and go to the outside of the play, that opens up the B gap in there. See? So Elliott has the cutback lane in the B gap because Fletcher is moving into a spot where Epps already is and already has his responsibility. So that creates a much longer play for Ezekiel than what should have been. And then the next play here, which is the absolute embarrassment of the game for the entire defense, to be honest. And Fletcher Cox, not a good showing here in this rep. Again, lined up in the 3 technique. He gets absolutely moved on a single block by Terrence Steele. I mean, he gets pushed over 6 yards from hash to hash, and it opens up a big fat D gap right there, and there is nobody to fill it. Avonte Maddox shoots away from it. Slay is not in the area. James Bradbury is not getting up there. Come on, Wallace is too slow to fill the gap, and it results in a touchdown. Much better job here by Fletcher on the very next drive from that bad play, taking on the double team here from Zach and Terrence. So they want to double team the tackles once again here. So basically, again, the rule is don't get moved, don't move the line of scrimmage, and count on the DBs to fill, or the secondary players to fill the gaps right here. He does that. One little thing, there's no reason to dance into or to skip hop into the block here. If he sets his feet, I guarantee you it's going to look a lot more like the first double team he took on. So here he gets a little bit out of balance with his feet. Instead of having both planted solidly in the ground and can push towards it, he has one of his feet a little bit up here, so that causes him to get pushed more inside. But still, he does what he has to by not getting moved off of the line and not allowing one of these offensive linemen to move up to the second level, and then Epps just misses his tackle. Good push here against Zach Martin in the running game. They're running a split zone right here, so Wing is going to be coming back and split blocking Good initial contact on Zach Martin. Works around the edge without giving up way too much space to that side. So he still has a tight enough angle to where he can make contact with Zeke while still maintaining his gap there to the outside. Good play. All right, so last drive, we know Cowboys are coming out and throwing the football. So we expect the defensive lineman to be in pass rush mode here. And I'm just not sure what the move is here from Fletcher. Starts going outside, never really cuts back inside on like a counter move or inside swipe or sets up a bull rush or anything like that. He just kind of washes away upfield. So kind of want to see a plan here. Like on the very next play here where he very clearly has a plan of going straight through Zach here on a bull rush. Really good hand placement here to begin with. 1. Places his hands on the chest while shoving away the arm of Zach, and then continuously driving him backwards. I think this is easier to see in the wide view here. So here we got Fletcher lined up there. Good leverage, good placement while moving the hands in there. Solid pressure. Kind of the same plan he has here. It's a quick game for Cowboys. So we never really get to see the full end result of the pass rush here because he gets rid of the ball immediately. But it's the same thing here that he wants to get this powerful punch in while swiping away the hands of Zach Martin here. So there you go. Initial engage and then punch with the arm to the side you want to go to. Here you want to go inside, so it's a punch with his right arm while you're applying the pressure with your other arm still. Let's put this one here in again with no pause. So contact, right hand club, and keep pushing with the other hand. So can absolutely say that he played a lot better than I expected. Still, there are some plays here and there where he simply gets washed away and where you can tell he's not at the same level he was before, of course. But then again, it kind of shows up here where he has good pressure on reps, where he still shows explosiveness and good work with his hands. I think really at a time right now where it's fine that he's in a system where there's a lot of rotation, where he can be fresh when he's getting in there. Because I think when fatigue hits, and then couple that with kind of the little dip in level of his play, we're seeing some of the stuff that goes on in that touchdown play with Ezekiel, where he just get washed away an absurd amount. But really, the entire defense sucked on that play. So it stands out because they scored and everything looks back, and you see that and you go ugh. But really, the rest of the game was not at all that bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of the reps were good. So still has some left in the tank, but not the same Cox Fletcher that we're used to seeing.